In 2008, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players around the world experienced mass confusion around the printing of one of the game's most convoluted cards, Black Garden. Black Garden features a paragraph of text with multiple conditions and multiple effects, summoning and destroying creatures while manipulating stat lines, all with multiple conditions. And of course, this is not the only Yu-Gi-Oh! Card with insane text. In fact, I don't know how any of you ever play Yu-Gi-Oh! You must have giant brains. The cards are all crazy. Of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't the only culprit here. Magic has plenty of confusing cards, and anyone who tries to jump from a more casual game like Hearthstone over to something like Magic the Gathering Drafts will inevitably be alarmed by the amount of text on the cards. This one, Animate Dead from Magic, is super funny to me. It's a whole paragraph of text, and it's super convoluted, and it results in reducing a creature's attack stat by 1 point. Wow! The level of complexity in a card game varies a lot. How complicated is too complicated? Conversely, are simple designs boring, or are they elegant? And of course, what does any of this have to do with Storm Warfare? Listen, I'm new to video essays, bear with me. I don't know if this makes sense yet, we'll get there. Let's talk about Storm Warfare. After playing around 50 games of Storm Warfare across 2 different playtest events, something was bugging me about the game. There's a lot to enjoy about Storm Warfare. In case you don't know, it's a World War II themed trading card game that's in early access beta testing right now. The World War II theme is great, and as common as World War II themes are in other media, I've never seen it in a card game like this, and it works quite well. The game has great art, great sound design, and a reasonably balanced meta that is easy to learn and to start playing. Yet, I felt bored when I played Storm Warfare. Even though I was winning more than I was losing, I was learning new tricks in the meta, I was doing all the usual good stuff that you do when you're learning a new trading card game, but unfortunately I was feeling bored. And as a relatively new person to sweating on TCGs, having only gotten competitive in the last few years, the feeling of a trading card game being too easy was actually kind of a new feeling to me. At first I thought maybe I'm just the greatest, I've ascended to my true dominance, I'm the best card game player, but no, I guess that's not it. Now I can see what's really going on. Let's talk about it. A game being easy to learn is not enough to make it a good game. If that was all it took, we'd all be happy playing 8 hours a day of Match 3 mobile games, and you wouldn't be watching this video. TCG YouTube wouldn't exist, but no, easy to learn by itself isn't enough. A great game is usually easy to learn, but very hard to master. I mean, easy to learn, hard to master defines so many of the world's greatest games. Counter-Strike, Super Smash Bros., even Hearthstone. This is the formula of a mainstream, massive game that can also have the longevity to survive for years or even decades. Let's look at chess. Chess is reasonably easy to learn. There are 6 pieces, your pawns, your bishops, your knights, your rooks, your queen, and your king. You and your opponent have the exact same pieces, and once you learn how the pieces move, along with the concept of check and checkmate, you know 90% of the rules of chess. Of course, there's a few exceptions, castling, or if you're really getting advanced, some en passant, maybe a 50-move repetition draw. But, those are edge cases, and for a new player, you just learn those as you go. The first time someone en passants you, you think they're bullshitting, then you look it up and you realize it's real, and then, okay, there you go. So, chess being easy to learn but so hard to master is probably why, to this day, it is one of the world's foremost competitive games, and in my opinion, from an interesting perspective, it's arguably the first esport. That's probably a topic for another video. People always get riled up when I say that. I kind of think chess counts as an esport. Now let's compare chess and checkers. So checkers, in contrast, is easy to learn, but it does not have the hard-to-master aspect. Sure, if one player studies the game and another player doesn't, the one who studies will probably win. But in general, checkers lacks the depth and the richness that a game like chess has, and so we don't celebrate the world's best checkers players. We don't talk about checkers all the time. Checkers is kind of a meme. Everyone knows about it, but no one plays it, right? And this is my problem with Storm Warfare. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please like and subscribe. So Storm Warfare, it's got all the stuff of an easy to learn game. Most cards have like 5 words of text or less. Most of the effects are made keywords, so you can see the one keyword on different cards and it always means the same thing. The spells are extremely simple, pretty much just damaging creatures and or drawing cards. Your only real gameplay zones are the board and the deck, with the hand and the graveyard lacking pretty much any interactivity. The only types of cards are spells and creatures. The game feels like checkers to me, and I'm not even that good at card games. I've only become competitive in the last few years, but even for me, this one is just too simple to be addicting. When I play Storm Warfare, once the initial fun of the World War II theme and aesthetic wears off, I am quickly bored by the game itself. Storm Warfare is simple in a way that isn't elegant. It is simple in a way that is redundant. It is checkers, not chess. I want to enjoy the game, I want to get sucked in, but I really can't. After an hour or two of this game, I'm ready to go back to any of my other favorite card games that have the balance of simplicity and complexity more dialed in. It begs the question, what is the correct amount of complexity in a card game? What are the simplest and most complicated card games that have achieved any level of success? Is there a perfect amount of text per card, a perfect amount of gameplay zones? My personal main game, Gods Unchained, does a great job with managing complexity. Most cards have less than 10 words of text, but there are some more complicated, deeper combo enabler type cards that extend players' abilities to build unusual decks. A great example of this is Pyrrhic Knowledge, a meta-defining card for mage decks that does something very interesting, bringing back a spell from the void, changing its mana cost, and then obliterating it after the turn or after it's played. But it does that without too much text, and more importantly, this kind of effect with multiple things going on is fairly rare. And by sprinkling these more complicated cards into otherwise relatively simple sets, Gods Unchained's meta goes very deep, and it rewards creative deck building without overwhelming beginners and Timmy-style players, including me when I first started. I was a super Timmy back when I started playing Gods Unchained. So I think that's an example of complexity done right. Elegant simplicity as opposed to boring simplicity. I want to like Storm Warfare. This game has a lot of good things about it. Perhaps they can launch new sets soon with more interesting mechanics and cards that will enable more depth of deck building and piloting, and I would love to see that. However, in the game's current form, I find Storm Warfare simple in a way that makes me feel bored. It feels like even base set Hearthstone is fresher than this from a gameplay perspective, and in the year 2024, that is a big problem. Now, a more experienced video essayist would probably have 20 more minutes on the topic of anecdotes of all the craziest games and all the different card games. I'm kind of a noob here. So I don't think we're going to go down another 20-minute rabbit hole, but I will say, I don't know exactly what I'm doing with this channel, but we are trending towards the card game variety content, having a lot of fun exploring the world of TCG YouTube. So I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys thought about this video format, the whole video essay thing. What do you think? If you played Storm Warfare during one of the beta tests, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. I read them all, of course, and thanks for watching. That's all I got. I'll see you next time. Flux signing out.